Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zita, and on my channel I share with you DIYs and makeovers on a budget. And don't forget to follow me over on my socials at Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Etsy. So let's get started on today's DIYs. Today I'm going to be showing you how I upcycled some jars that I had in my recycling and made them over into vintage style Christmas gift jars. You can put a gift in there, you can put some cookies in there, or you can just use them for your Christmas decor. So as you can see, I've got a cocoa jar here first that I'm going to make over. So I'm going to start by painting this jar. Now this is paper on top, so I didn't put anything else on here to help this paint stick, but now when it's plastic, you're going to need to put something on the jar to make it stick. So I gave that few coats of paint to cover up that print on the jar. Now I'm using this mold here, snowflake mold that I got from a garage sale. I'm putting some cornstarch in here so the clay doesn't stick. I'm using paper clay here. And I do have some IOD snowflake molds now. And these molds here, I believe, are for, I don't know, cookies or soap or something like that. So they're not very firm. They're really flexible. But the snowflake came out okay. And I made it, you know, a lot less flatter than what the mold is here. So I'm going to glue this snowflake on my jar, and you're going to want to put something on each side because the heaviness of that clay is going to make it want to go to the side. So I'm just putting my glue on, going to set that in place and let that dry on there. Now you can put some hot glue on here as well just to make it stick right away. So I'm just kind of smearing that around to get full coverage of the snowflake, putting it in place, and now I'm going to let that dry. So isn't that beautiful, guys? And like I said, I do have some IOD mold snowflakes now, and if you want to see me use those in a project, you can watch my snowman sign video, and I'll put that in the description box if you'd like to see that. Just brightening up my camera here. Now I'm using these sponge stamps here that I picked up at the thrift store. I think I got this whole bunch there, as you see to the side, for like $1. And so you can use these on craft like this. You can put them on Christmas cards, or let your kids use them for crafts, for paper crafts. But I'm using it on the bottom here. These stamps here are trees. And I'm putting a red all the way around the bottom. And then I'm going to use some of the other snowflake stamps there that you see that I pulled out all over different areas of the jar. Now guys, you're going to want to let this ink dry before you see me do this next step, which is to put some wax on to darken this piece up. So I like the red there. It's tying in nicely with the lid on the jar, but like I said, I'm going to darken this up to make it look more vintage. So I'm using some gold ink to put some snowflakes all around the rest of the jar. I actually only put a few on, and you'll see me later add some more after I've put some of the wax on. And usually you would do that before you put the wax on, but it worked out okay. So just making it look more vintage and more Christmassy here. So here I am putting a white wax with some brown acrylic paint, just mixing that together to darken up this jar. And like I said, that's going to make the piece look more vintage. So I'm giving that a good mix, and then I'm going to use a cloth and a brush to apply that. And like I said, guys, you're going to want to make sure your ink is really dry before you start doing this process. I think that bottom portion of my ink there with the trees going all around, I don't think it was completely dry, and the piece kind of looks like a chocolatey pink color, but I think that makes it look more vintage actually, and you'll see how it looks in the end. So stay till the end to see how all these jars turn out, guys. So here I'm just brushing on the brown wax that I've mixed up here, kind of on the edges, making it look darker on the top and bottom edges, and then just spreading it all over in the middle. So here I'm just using some white wax on its own, and I'm just softening up all of that brown wax that I've put on there. So I'm just softening it up all over, and once I have the white wax on there, I'm just going to put some gold acrylic paint on that snowflake. That's going to bring out all that detail of the snowflake and make it look more beautiful. Then once I put the gold paint on the snowflake to bring out all the detail, I'm going to put some sparkle, white sparkle all over the snowflake and on portions of the jar. So here, as you can see, I didn't think I had enough snowflakes all over this jar, so I added some more gold snowflakes. And like I said, you would usually do this before you put your wax on, but I thought I'm just going to give it a try anyway and see if it sticks, and it did. And make sure you don't have any ink on the outside edges of your stamp there, guys, or you're going to get that square kind of look. So that's what it looks like with the stamps all over. So now I'm applying that gold acrylic paint, and then I'll apply the sparkle. Doesn't that sparkle look awesome, guys? Now you see that red ink kind of looks more muted now, it looks more vintage. Now right here I am cutting out a circle of some snowflakes to kind of match the snowflake that I put on the jars. And I'm going to glue that on that lid, and that's going to tie in nicely with the rest of the snowflakes on the jar. And I do take some antiquing wax and apply it on the paper just so it ties in with all the wax that I put on the jar, and that's going to make the lid look more vintage as well. And once again, guys, stay till the end so you can see how all these beautiful jars turned out. They look amazing. So these are the next couple of jars I have here, guys. These are plastic. One's a mayo jar, and the other one, I think there was some icing in that one. So This is a Fusion Ultra Grip. Now guys, if you were going to paint this, which was what I was originally going to do, you would apply that Fusion Ultra Grip so your paint sticks to your plastic jar. So you would apply the Fusion Ultra Grip, let it dry, and then apply your paint. But I went a different route and I thought I'm going to decoupage these. So I got these beautiful Christmas tree napkins, and if you haven't seen my last video, guys, where I do a reverse decoupage on a plate with these beautiful Christmas tree napkins, I'll leave that in my description box as well, or you can go back and watch that video, and they turned out so beautiful. So I'm going to apply this napkin all around my jar, and make sure you get all plies off your napkins, guys, or your project is going to mess up. It's going to bubble up. And I've said that in previous videos too, but just for anyone new watching, I want them to know that detail. So make sure you get all your plies off. Some of the napkins I get from the dollar store, which these are from the dollar store, are only 2-ply, but sometimes when you order them online, they're 3-ply. Most of them are 3-ply. So you're going to want to get all the plies off. So I'm applying my Mod Podge, and I'm smoothing it out with my disposable disposable shower cap that I have here. And got some fire trucks going by here, so if you hear that sirens in the background, guys, that's what it is. So once I have all my Mod Podge on there and smooth it out, I'm trimming off that excess that napkin that's left over, and I'm smoothing it out with my plastic here, and then I'm cutting off the edges, and I'll smooth that out later. So this mayo jar here, I'm applying this beautiful Christmas deer and snowflake napkin, and once again I'm smoothing it out with my disposable shower cap. And the reason I use that, guys, is because it's a really soft plastic. So you can use a plastic bag as well, or saran wrap, but I like this because it's really soft plastic and it's less likely to rip my napkin. So you're gonna, when you're smoothing that out, you're gonna want to go lightly. Don't go too hard because you're gonna rip your napkin. Again, I'm trimming off the excess napkin. I'm gonna smooth that edge out, and then I'm gonna cut the bottom off the jar and let that dry, and then I'm gonna come back in and give those bottoms a sanding and smooth out those edges. Now guys, you see that I applied some of my Mod Podge here before I cut the edge off. Don't do that. Cut your edge off and then apply your rest of your Mod Podge on the edge and then smooth it out. So right here I'm cutting it off, and I just let those set and let them dry, guys, and then I am sanding those edges off and smoothing it out, and then I'm going to apply my top coat of Mod Podge on both of these jars and then let that dry. Now I'm trying putting Mod Podge on the lid here to put these fabric pieces on top. And I got these at the Dollarama, guys. So if you're viewers from the States, I did not get these at the Dollar Tree. I'm not sure if the Dollar Tree has these. I'm just filling out my little tag there, and then the package comes with elastics and tags. So I have 3 different colors of what do you call these things? Anyway, lid toppers, fabric lid toppers. That's what I'm calling them right now because I don't know what they're called. If you know, leave me a comment. And I'm doing, now I didn't put any Mod Podge on the top of this one. I just put the red lid, and this is going to match the jar. Filled out that little tag with Merry Christmas, and this is what this one looks like, but stay tuned till the end to see what they all look like together. And this is a breadcrumb jar that I had, guys. Very sturdy cardboard jar there, so I just painted that up, and paper paint's really nice. You don't need to put anything on there to make that paint stick. I'm using a homemade chalk paint here, guys, and if you haven't made homemade chalk paint, it's a lot cheaper than buying it. So I've made a video on that, so if you want to watch that, go ahead and in my description box and click on that video, and you'll see how to make that and save yourself some money. So again, I am using this little Christmas mold here that I found at a garage sale as well, and I'm just using some dollar store clay here, guys. I think I got this at the Dollar Tree, and it's not white, but that's okay because I'm going to be painting this jar again. I'm going to be painting those trees. So I'm going to be putting 3 clay trees on the bottom. I was going to put one of those little wreaths there that you see, but I decided against it. I thought I'd put 3 of those trees. Try saying that 3 times, guys. That's a tongue twister. So 3 trees on the bottom, and I'm just putting glue all over there. You can use some hot glue with this glue mixture as well if you want them to stick right away. And so I put that on there, put a couple of jars in between that jar so it doesn't move around. And once that clay is dry, then I do my painting. I paint this white all over. I give the jar paint again, and I paint those trees white, as you'll see coming up here. So the clay is dry now, and I'm just giving the whole jar a coat of white paint again. So once that's dry, I'm using the trees again on the bottom, going around the trees. Now this ink was a really bright green, and I should have used a darker green, but I already had it down, so I went with it, and I'm going to darken it up with some dark wax again, so that'll make that less brighter. And guys, as you can see, I painted the trees a hunter green, and I put some tape around the top, and I'm going to make a grain sack stripe using that same hunter green. I don't know what I did with the footage where I painted those trees, if I lost it or put it in another file, but as you can see, I painted it green. And that edging on the grain sack stripe was a little, had a little bleed through, so I just touched it up with some white paint, and then I applied some dark wax around the whole jar, and then some white wax on those trees, and then I put that dark wax along the bottom of that really bright Christmas tree to darken it up. Now I'm using some IOD stamps here, guys, to spell out the word joy. Now this, like I said, you'll want to do before you put your wax on, but I thought the jar needed something else after I had it all waxed up. So I tried it anyway, and I inked it up. My O was coming off here, so I just put that on there after. Once this ink was dry, guys, I used some dark wax, combination of white wax and brown paint that I mixed up, and I darkened up the whole jar again to make it look more vintage. And this is what all the jars look like before, guys. So if these gave you inspiration, give this video a like and a comment. I hope you guys will create some of these for your own Christmas gifts. I'm using them to hold cookies and to give as gifts. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of these. Thanks so much for sharing some of your time with me today. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.